Russia is the largest country in the world, occupying over 30% of all Eurasia. Despite its immense size, its population is surprisingly small. With a territorial area twice that of Brazil, Russia's population is less than 70% of Brazil's. Comparing it to other countries further highlights this disproportion. Nigeria, 17 times smaller than Russia, has about 73 million more people. China's territory is 60% of Russia's, yet over 1 billion people live there. The United States, with less than 60% of Russia's land area, houses more than double its population. An interesting geographical fact is that Russia spans both Europe and Asia. The division between European Russia and Asian Russia runs along the Ural Mountains, forming a natural border between the two continents. On this map, we see that European Russia constitutes only 20% of the entire territory, yet approximately 68% of the population lives in this region. This immediately shows that not only is Russia's overall population relatively small, but its distribution across the vast territory is highly uneven. Analyzing Russia's population density map, the most populated areas are marked in reddish tones. It's clear that the majority of the population resides in the European part, and those living in the Asian part are concentrated near the southern borders. It's no coincidence that the 5 most populous cities in Russia, Moscow, St. Petersburg, Novosibirsk, Yekaterinburg, and Kazan, are located in the southern region. These cities collectively host over 15% of the country's entire population, yet together they represent less than 1% of Russia's total land area. Meanwhile, Siberia, the vast Asian side of Russia, holds only 27% of the Russian population despite accounting for over 70% of the country's land. In this video, we'll explore the reasons behind Russia's unequal population distribution. The first major factor contributing to the depopulation of most of Russia is the extremely low temperatures in many regions and their direct impact on arable land distribution. This map shows Russia's cultivated lands, with blue and green areas indicating high agricultural productivity, while yellow and red regions have low or virtually no agricultural activity. Populations tend to concentrate in areas where the climate permits cultivation, and cultivated lands are directly correlated with regional climate and temperatures. Observing this map of average temperatures, we see that the warmest regions are predominantly in the south, precisely where agricultural activity is highest and populations are densest. Moscow, Russia's most populated city, located in the country's south, has an average annual temperature of 6 degrees Celsius, reaching up to 24 degrees Celsius in summer. In stark contrast, Siberia is the coldest region. Yakutsk, its capital, is considered the coldest city in the world, with average winter temperatures of 40 degrees Celsius and a record low of 71 degrees Celsius. This dramatic temperature difference is directly linked to Russia's proximity to the poles. Russia is less than 4,000 kilometers south of the North Pole, and temperatures generally decrease closer to the poles. Furthermore, parts of Russia are within the Arctic Circle, a region encompassing the world's coldest areas, like the Alaskan Peninsula, northern Canada, Greenland, Lapland, and northern Russia itself. This region is bordered by the Arctic Ocean, much of which is covered by ice, including the Chukchi Sea, East Siberian Sea, and Laptov Sea, situated above eastern Russia. Moreover, areas within the Arctic Circle receive less direct sunlight, resulting in consistently lower temperatures. Because northern Russia is part of the Arctic Circle, it's influenced by the Arctic Polar Current, which transports cold water and air from the North Pole into the country. This makes the far north Russia's coldest region, while southern regions experiencing less polar influence have milder temperatures. This polar influence is also evident in Nordic countries and Canada. Their population maps show most people concentrated in the south due to extreme northern temperatures. In summary, the closer to the poles, the colder it is. Conversely, the closer to the equator, the warmer it is, primarily due to more intense solar radiation. For example, India, closer to the equator, has a hot climate with an average annual temperature of 32 degrees Celsius. Nepal, slightly further north, averages 23 degrees Celsius. Russia, however, has a much lower average annual temperature of 5 degrees Celsius. Another significant factor influencing Russia's population concentration is its economic history. The earliest inhabited regions of Russia were settled by Rus Vikings in the 9th century along the Neva and Volga rivers. These areas offered abundant natural resources, and the rivers provided food sources and were primary transportation routes. Initially, these communities sustained themselves through agriculture and hunting. As they developed, they transformed into vital centers of industry, trade, and transportation. Regions along these rivers became prosperous, including Tver, Nizhny Novgorod, Ulyanovsk, Saratov, Volgograd, and Astrakhan, as well as St. Petersburg. The Volga River remains important today, linking Russia with Western European countries. Russia's geography also influences southern region development. The country's north is bordered by the Arctic Ocean, which, as explained, is largely frozen. This made the northern region economically less attractive for Russia to develop. In contrast, powerful economies like Japan, China, Germany, France, and Italy are located to the south, becoming major trade partners. Therefore, developing the southern region yielded much greater financial returns for Russia, while the eastern region was comparatively neglected. Furthermore, during the Soviet era, the industrial sector was primarily expanded in Russia's central and European regions, attracting a large influx of people. Western Russia, encompassing the European parts of the country, is rich in natural resources like oil, natural gas, and minerals. It was a main industrial hub of the Soviet Union, with many steel and oil factories still operating today, making it the most industrialized and developed region. Central Russia, besides its rich natural resources, also boasts a strategic commercial location, leading to a developed transport network with major railways and highways. For instance, the M7 highway begins near Moscow's MK8 Ring Road, crosses the Vladimir Oblast, proceeds to the Nizhny Novgorod Oblast, continues to the Republic of Tatarstan, traverses Ulyanovsk, and reaches Kazan. It then crosses the Vyatka River and arrives at the Republic of Bashkortostan, where it crosses the Kama River before ending in Ufa. Moscow, as the capital of the Soviet Union, played a crucial role in the country's economy and politics and developed more rapidly than other regions. Due to the high development of the country's south and its proximity to key partners, Russia's main trade routes are also concentrated there. Notable examples include gas pipelines. Russia is a leading producer of natural gas, exporting primarily to countries like Germany. Gas pipelines are networks of tubes transporting natural gas from production to consumption regions. A key route is Yamal-Europe, connecting Russia to Western Europe via Belarus, Poland, and Germany. Another vital route is Nord Stream, transporting gas from Russia to European countries via the Baltic Sea and Germany. The Baltic Sea is also an important maritime trade route, with major ports including Copenhagen, Denmark, Stockholm, Sweden, Helsinki, Finland, Gdansk, Poland, Rostock, Germany, and St. Petersburg and Kaliningrad, Russia. On land, the Trans-Siberian Railway stands out as the world's longest railway. Its route starts in Moscow, linking cities like Yekaterinburg, Omsk, and Novosibirsk, and extending to Vladivostok, Russia's largest eastern port city. The railway connects Russia with North Korea, Mongolia, and China. All Russian cities along the Trans-Siberian are vital to the country, making the railway essential for transporting people and goods between regions. However, importing, exporting, and transport companies are concentrated in western, not eastern, Russia. Despite operating in the eastern region, businesses prefer the west due to better infrastructure, a more pleasant climate, and proximity to major trade routes. Many large Russian companies are located in the south. Moscow, though relatively small in area, hosts giants like Rosneft, Tatneft, and Lukoil, major oil companies, Wimbledon Foods, food, Polyus Gold, mining, Astronaval and Altino, technology, and Sberbank, Eastern Europe's largest bank. Cherepovets, on the Rybinsk Reservoir, a Volga tributary, also stands out. Its favorable location offers easy access to all transport modes, making it home to one of Russia's largest industrial parks, Severstal, a steel and mining company exporting to over 50 countries. All these factors explain Russia's population concentration in major cities and warmer southern regions, while northern and Siberian areas remain colder and emptier. This leads to urbanization, where large cities develop further while less populated ones struggle. Better infrastructure, more job opportunities, and higher wages in major cities motivate people to migrate there. These regions attract both internal migrants from remote Russian communities and international immigrants, mainly from Commonwealth of Independent States members like Kazakhstan, Moldova, Tajikistan, and Uzbekistan. In 2015, immigrants comprised about 8% of Russia's population, though this number fell to nearly 5% in 2022 due to the war in Ukraine. These immigrants largely concentrate in major centers like Moscow, St. Petersburg, and Kazan. However, this trend may change as the Russian government increasingly offers financial incentives for people to move to Siberia and the Far East. They are also investing in infrastructure improvements and tax incentive programs for businesses in eastern Russia. A recent example is a cryptocurrency mining subsidy program in Siberia, set to house 30,000 mining machines and employ about 100 people. Incentives like these could encourage businesses to establish in remote Russian regions, gradually increasing their populations and addressing the uneven distribution across Russia's vast territory.